Well, this is the Turbo Business BFS Financial Accounting Chapter 9 Partnership, the first section. We're now going to talk about the work example 3, and in this work example 3 you're required to prepare the trading and profit and loss and appropriation account, and next one is to prepare the statement of financial position. And for this work example 3, we have 3 partners. The first one is Peter, Paul and Mary, and they share the profit in the ratio of 1 to 2 to 3. So we first take a look of some additional information, and then we can start prepare the 2 financial statements. For the first one, partner's salary were included in the wages and salary. So for this additional information, tell you that for the wages and salaries here, there should be deduction from this part, because for the partner's salary we should not include in the wages and salary account because this is for the employee, but this one is the partner should include in the appropriation account. Therefore, there should be some changes in the statement of finance. In the income statement. Okay, next one. The second part, interest allowed 4,000 on the loan from Mary had not been paid and record. It was to be directly transferred to Mary's current account. Okay, for this point, we have interest. So why you have interest? Because you normally you borrow the money from the bank or you borrow the money from others. So this time, Mary as a partner she borrowed to lend the money to the partnership. Therefore, you have loan. Always when you see the word loan, you need to remind yourself any interest you need to pay. So this is for the second part, and this interest will, of course, is the expenses. Okay, next, this third one will be depreciation on the motor van was 10% per annum on a reducing balance base. For this part, remind you one more time, for the depreciation we have 3 methods. The first one, straight line, second one, reducing balance, and the last one is the activity basis. So for the reducing balance, how to calculate? Remember, you need to have the NBV and then time the percentage, right? So for the depreciation of motor van, take a look. Here show you that motor van is at NBV, net book value, NBV. Therefore, you don't need to find accumulated depreciation by yourself. So it's just very simple. Let the NBV 45,810 times 10%, we got the depreciation expenses. And then decrease in allowance for double debts. For this question is just very easy because it just gives you the changes of the allowance for double debts. You don't need to calculate by yourself, and always we talk about the allowance for double debts is the change. That means increase in or decrease in. And this one will be revenue, other revenue for the company. For the company. And then this one, inventory, the last will be the closing inventory. So for item number 6, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 orders. Marked with A, that means appropriation account. Okay, so we based on the information, let's see for how we do that. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, we have, of course, just to remind you that for the trading and profit and loss account, we first start with the we first start with the sales. Okay, sales. This is page 215. Okay, first start with sales, and then we have the cost of goods sold. So after we have cost of goods sold, we have this part is a component of the cost of goods sold. Beginning of inventory, add net purchase, and then less the closing inventory. And then we have 21798. This part is the cost of goods sold. So sales minus the cost of goods sold, you got the gross profit. And then remind yourself, do you have any other revenue? And here you find the discount received. Received, I always tell you that when you have the income or the received, then this will be the other revenue. So next one, decrease in allowance for double debt will be referred to the additional information number 4. Okay, this is number 4. And we go to the expenses. Allowance for depreciation, or we just say here normally we don't use allowance for depreciation. We just set depreciation is okay, or depreciation expenses. Because it's the reducing balance, right? Reducing balance, you can refer to number 3. Reducing balance, and you just have the NBV. Okay, 45810 is the NBV times 10%. Then you got the depreciation. And then next one, interest on loan from Mary. This one is the additional information number 2. And then office rent and rate is from the balance. Office let me find this. Oh yeah, here. Here you find office rent and rate. Okay, and then we move on to the wages and salary. Okay, for wages and salary, this is related to item number 1. Okay, why you find this calculation here? Because from the additional information number 1, we tell you that the wages and salary wrongly include the partner's salary. Okay, so we need to deduct it. So 5,000. If you take a look of additional information number 6, you find Peter's and Paul's salary. Therefore, 5,000 is and also 6,000 is the partner's salary. Okay. Alright, so next we have carriage hours. Always remember carriage hours is one of the expenses, and then bad debts, discount allowed, and then electricity. I believe all these are just some of the items you need to remember by yourself. And then we have to calculate total expenses. This is total expenses, 83752, and then we deduct it from the gross profit and the other revenue, the sum of these two. Then you find the net profit. Okay, so remember for the appropriation. Appropriation is the important part for the partnership profit and loss account. Okay, so remember, add the interest on drawings. Okay, and then less the partner salaries, interest on capital, and interest on current account. And for all this drawings, you can refer the amount from the balance of the accounts, and then less the partner salaries, interest on capital, and the interest on current account. Okay, but what I want to focus is this part. You find Mary's share of profit. Okay, and if you take a look at the additional information number 6, item 6, and then 4, and then you find Mary's guarantee a minimum profit. That means she will surely get this amount. Okay, surely get this amount. Therefore, when you need to share the profit 16735, normally their profit is 1 to 2 to 3, right? So divided by 6 parts. Okay. Okay. Therefore, how we calculate this? So if you have the calculator, okay, you may take it out and then try 16735 divided by 6. Yeah, and then you got then times 3, right? So you got 8367.5 is less than, okay, is less than the Mary's guaranteed profit 8,500. Therefore, we first have the subtotal of the profit 16735 and then minus 8500, and then you got 8235. Okay, so for this 8235 will be shared by proportion of divided by 3, and then you got Peter's profit, and also Paul is let 2745 times 2, and then you got 5,490. Alright, this is for the parts that you need to put more focus. Okay. Okay, next we go to the part B. Okay, for part B, this one is need to prepare a statement of financial position, and of course, if you need to prepare the statement of financial position, then of course start with the asset, non-current asset, and the current asset. So for the non-current asset, we take a look of this work. The example 3, we just have the motor van. But remember, when you need to calculate the values, this 45A1 is the depreciation expenses, so you need to deduct it by itself, okay? And then so that to get the net NBV. Next one, inventory. Inventory, this one can refer to additional information number 5. This is closing inventory, and then for the account receivable. Account receivable, this one is the net. That means is already deducted, okay? Deducted the allowance for doubtful debts. Okay, already deducted. But what you see is it sign here. Because this time is decreased, therefore minus minus, and then you got the positive, right? Negative negative, you got positive. So you got here, and then cash at bank, cash in hand, just directly copied from the balance. Okay, so we got total asset, and then this come to the capital and liabilities. No change because all this the fixed capital. Okay, so what we need to remind you is the current account. For this current account, in general, okay, we don't prepare like this. We just want to have the total balance, and then show the total balance should be enough. But in these cases, normally we will prepare the current account separately. Okay, separately, and then to show all this. So depends on the question, and this one normally will become working. Okay, become a working. So in normal, we just show the balance that all this are circle, and then this will become the workings. And just one point I want to remind you is Mary. You got when you take a look of that, you find long interest, and then you add to the Mary's current account. And this is referred to the item number 2. Item number 2, you find that it was to directly transfer to Mary's current account for the interest. Therefore, you find Mary's, it has additional shares of the profit. Okay, so for the long interest, and then for the current account also, this one drawings, you need to subtract it, And others, you find the non-current liabilities, current liabilities, and then others. Okay, so at last, of course, the total asset will equal to the total capital and liabilities. Okay, so this is for the Chapter 9 Double Business Financial Accounting example 3.